Hello Sagittarius, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Sagittarius, let's jump on in here. We're going to start with oracle cards to look at the overall energy, and then we'll dive deeper into the story with tarot as we progress. So I first would like to get an idea of what you guys have been dealing with. Overall energy for Sagittarius's recent past. What has Sagittarius been dealing with? You have the magic touch here, but it's blocked. Okay, hang on. I love this deck so much, but it is so large and there are so many cards. There being a lot of cards is one of the reasons that I love it, but it can be so difficult to shuffle. Automatic negative thoughts. Interesting. Okay. So you have more potential than I feel like you even realize to this point. Like, even if you found a lot of success, even if you are like in a seemingly good place, like, I feel like you have a lot of expectations of things going wrong. Now, typically, I think a lot of automatic negative thoughts can stem from having been through a lot, right? When we've been through a lot of struggle, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of things that have taken, that like have had things taken from us, a lot of loss, I think that it's natural to expect those things. But I almost feel as if your energy and your focus has been so much on, and this is going to sound like duh, but then I want to elaborate on it. I feel like so much of your focus has been on, how can I survive? Like, how can I get through the day? How can I make, how can I be okay? Like, essentially, instead of looking at your life from a bigger picture and understanding that you're not here just to survive. You're not here just to get by. Like, you're here to align with more than I feel like you even realize is possible for you right now. But it does feel that specifically surrounding maybe love or financial success, or it's like there's so much negative expectation around it. Probably, maybe there's a lot of trauma surrounding it, but there's so much negative expectation around it that negative expectation, whether or not you realize it, keeps manifesting. And I think that's maybe why you keep experiencing like loss or heartbreak or financial struggles or whatever. And I'm not saying it's your fault, okay? And I'm definitely not saying that. But I do feel that there are some things that are needing to be addressed regarding certain cycles in your life. Okay, current energy for Sagittarius. Because we can't control all of our thoughts, right? But we can control which thoughts we give energy to, which thoughts we believe, which ones we decide are going to be the ones that we act on. And I feel like there's a need to be a little bit more discerning between like which thoughts and beliefs that you are giving energy to and acting on, as opposed to the ones that you're not. Okay, current energy here. Ooh. That's a lot. That's way too many cards. Clear, concise messages for Sagittarius's current energy. Okay, that's better. Rejoicing, nourishment, and mirror with limiting beliefs. Your life and this goes for anybody, but I feel like, because we're talking about overall energy and then we're going to kind of dive into the situations, but your life is a reflection of what you believe is possible for you. And it's hard because when we've been through a lot, we're going to start to believe that the things that we've been through is all that's possible. You know, the failed relationships and the heartache and the loss and the struggle. You know, when we're used to experiencing certain situations for so long, we start to believe that those are the best things that we can have or we can experience. And so what we don't realize is then we start to pour into those situations. We start to pour into situations that align with our limiting beliefs, relationships that don't align with what we deserve, and jobs and career paths that don't really align with what we desire, but are, but that we invest in literally just for survival. And we do these things not intentionally, but because we think we have to. And I feel like right now is a period of really stepping outside of the mirror a little bit and getting very clear on what are the biggest limiting beliefs that hold you back. Is it limiting beliefs around your knowledge, around your capabilities, around how attractive you are, around how smart or intelligent you think you are? Because it feels like there are certain beliefs that you hold about yourself and about what's possible for you that you keep experiencing as truth over and over, but it's not truth. It's the reflection of what you're carrying. So because with this rejoicing card, it almost feels like there's more to what's possible for you than what it is that you've experienced. But the more that, like, I just feel like the positive things or the things that you desire, specifically whether it's love or finances, there's so much negative expectation that you carry that it keeps you from focusing on the positive at all. It's like there's so much lack, there's so much that's not going your way, and I don't think you're doing it intentionally. I think your survival mode is really taking over or has taken over, and this is about stepping outside of that and starting to focus a little bit more on what is going well so you can create more energy of things going well. Because it's like there's so much focus on what isn't working and what's not going right. And like, look at all of this proof I have that I'm not enough or that it's not possible for me, that I'm not capable. And your past is not proof of what's possible for you. Your past is merely a reflection, right? Which is I think, equally as good as it can be challenging, because it's like, that means that there's something you can work on, something you can control, something you can look at within and say, these are the reasons or the beliefs that I hold or the thoughts that I give energy to that do cause me to, to hold myself back or not take certain steps or not see certain opportunities. What does Sagittarius need to know moving forward? It's almost like you've talked yourself out of your own potential in some way. Education, universal bank. Okay, there's a lot more here too. With source, which I feel like can kind of be career transition and power struggle. This doesn't have to be about a career. It could be, maybe it's something like, oh, I'm too old to go back to school, or I've come too far on this path to, whatever. I feel like this is about redirecting your energy to, if you could wake up and you could believe that you were capable of whatever your heart desires, that you were capable of success, that you were capable of love, that you were capable of fulfillment and peace and all of these things that you crave but have felt so out of reach for so long, like, what would you do differently? That's what this energy is about, because that's how you tap in to universal abundance, is you embody it. You embody the belief that you can have it. You embody the belief that you are deserving of it. And it's not that we don't do that intentionally. It's that we sometimes get into survival mode, right? So I feel like Spirit's asking you to open your heart and your mind to where you can redirect your energy. And maybe for some of you, it is about a career. I mean, you do have career transition, but I don't think that that's for everybody. I think that there's, it's like this this fight that's happening between your soul and your ego, because your ego is saying keep things as they are, or like believe these limiting beliefs, hold yourself back, accept less than what you deserve, whatever. And your soul is saying no, there's another way, there's another path, but you have to see the possibility in order to step into that potential. So it kind of feels like stepping into, like if I was going to say it in a cheesy way, stepping into your unlimited potential and recognizing that you are unlimited potential. You are the universe in motion. You are the only thing holding you back. But it's not always so easy because the human mind is a maze. It's a mess in there sometimes. So it can be a little bit, difficult to believe that. But a lot of what healing is, and a spiritual journey and manifestation and all of that, is remembering who you are. You are a divine being having a human experience, and your life may have made you identify more with your humanness. But so we have to get back to our divinity and to recognize that we are capable of so much more. We're here to experience so much more than what our ego and our life has taught us to this point. So it kind of feels like, I don't know, like changing your perspective around who you are and what you're capable of and what you're deserving of, first of all, but also how supported you are. Overall theme of this reading for Sagittarius. A time to give rather than take. This is a card all about investing. Investing in... Ooh, you're very close to achieving your goal with conclusions are within reach. I was going to say investing in your future, but I feel like it's more than that. It's almost like... and I kind of got to this point in my path where I was really unhappy with the way that things were. I wasn't in healthy relationships. I was struggling financially. I hated my job. And I was so miserable for so long that I got so tired of being miserable that I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try. I'm just going to try to create a life that doesn't feel possible right now. I'm going to believe that it exists. I'm going to settle for nothing less, and I'm just going to do what I can to take steps toward it. And I created it. It wasn't easy, and there was a lot more to that story. It wasn't just like, boom, point A, point B. But I think that sometimes it really can be that easy in theory, where it's like we wake up and we decide or realize or remember, I am unlimited potential. I don't have to settle. I don't have to struggle in order to survive. There might be obstacles and challenges, sure, but there are solutions. I'm supported and guided. Money comes easily. Love is something that flows abundantly. Like, when we remember these things, we stop fighting so hard to survive, and we start allowing ourselves to be open to the solutions and the steps that we need to take to create the good things, instead of spending our time believing that the good things can't happen. Because I see it all the time in my comment section. And there's no judgment in this by any means. I get it for sure, but I'll see, like, all I've experienced is struggle my whole life. Why would I believe anything could be different? Exactly, right? If you've been through a lot in your life, you're going to believe that things always have to be hard, which is going to create this experience of things always have to be hard. But then it's that catch-22, right? It's like, but you have to believe that things can get better to create them. So instead of focusing on trying to force it into existence, because you got to work from the inside out, you have to look at, what beliefs do I carry? What is looking to be healed? What do I need to acknowledge? What do I need to feel? What do I need to see within me that is holding me back the most? Because Spirit's saying it's not that you can't have the things you deserve and desire. That's not it at all. You might think that for whatever reason, but that's not it. You are unlimited potential. I mean, that's why you have universal bank here. It's like everything you need to thrive is already here. Source, you have your connection to Source, is the light and love that shines through you and leads the way. It's like everything you want is already available to you, and your connection to that abundance is what's going to create it. But when we go through so much struggle and we're used to struggle and lack, we disconnect from that source. We disconnect from the belief that, well, not just the belief, but the truth that we are unlimited potential. All right. Let's dive into this further. Let's look at this recent past energy here, Sagittarius, the magic touch. Automatic negative thoughts. What has Sagittarius been dealing with? A lack of stability. And the Eight of Swords is literally trapped in a reality that reflects limiting beliefs. Let me clarify this Page of Pentacles. What you don't realize, you keep recreating your past. You keep recreating your past. In relationships and financial struggles, you keep making decisions that repeat your past. And I don't think you do it intentionally. We rarely do, right? 95% of our movements, choices, and decisions are subconscious. And a lot of times we make decisions to repeat our past because struggle and lack and suffering almost become like our comfort zone in a way, because we're so used to experiencing it that our ego is like, this is all I know how to survive in, how to exist in. And we almost start to identify with that struggle. We start to identify with those experiences, like, I only ever experience heartache, or I only ever experience unhealthy relationships, or I only ever experience financial struggles. What you don't realize is that on some level, and please know I am not blaming you, okay? But on some level, if you believe you can't have anything better, if you believe that you can't have abundance in every single form, love, freedom, peace, yeah, of course you're going to choose situations that you feel you need to in order to survive. Of course, you're going to have certain expectations around certain things. That's the problem, though. And it's not necessarily your fault, because we create these limiting beliefs based on what we go through, right? When we're born, all we know that we exist. From that point forward, everything we experience becomes what we believe about ourselves, about our life, about what's possible, about how supported by divine intelligence we are. And we have to recognize that this is happening so we can shift things, right? And I think that what you're not realizing is there are certain patterns and cycles that keep repeating that's a reflection of you believing you can't have anything better, of you believing that you have to settle in order to survive, or that you have to accept less than what you deserve in order to have anything at all. And you probably believe this because that's what life has shown you so far. But that's where it's like, if you want things to change, you have to recognize that this is happening so that you can make decisions that align more with, again, like I said, like if you could wake up and believe you were unlimited potential and that anything was possible for you, what would you do, right? And I mean that in a very literal way. Like if you truly believed that everything that you deserve and desire was possible for you, how would you move differently? What decisions would you make? How would you let go of things, that don't serve you? How would you take risks? How would you open up? And I think so much of the time people have a tendency to kind of jump on that idea and go, oh, that's illogical, right? I got bills to pay, I've got mouth to feed and things of that nature. And yeah, of course you do. And I'm not saying screw those responsibilities by any means, but that's what I mean. If you believe you have to struggle and that you have to be miserable in order to have the things that you need, your life is going to be a reflection of that truth. But when we step out of that and we believe that more is possible for us and we're capable of more and that we're supported in more, we start to see possibilities that we wouldn't see when we're completely closed off to them. Current energy for Sagittarius, mirror with limiting beliefs. I mean, this mirror card literally says everything that is happening in your external life is a reflection of your inner world. And limiting belief says this situation calls for reprogramming your belief system. But I think so much of the time, we don't want to see what needs to change because it does require us to do things differently. It does require us to walk away from what isn't serving us or to shift our focus to different things. And that's really scary to our ego because our ego is like, but I only know how to survive here. I only know how to survive in struggle and in suffering. I don't know how to survive in, freedom and peace. Current energy for Sagittarius. That's actually something that I've struggled with a lot on my journey is as my life started to improve and I started to create more, I started to create more success and abundance and peace and stability in my life. My nervous system didn't know how to handle it. So as my life started to improve, when I met my husband and then we got married and then my career started to take off, as these things started to happen, I had more anxiety. I started having panic attacks. I started feeling really overwhelmed because I had never existed in a space where I didn't have to struggle, where I didn't have to fight to survive, where I was just being loved and being taken care of, and I could trust that, everything that I needed was going to come to me in divine time. It's like I was so used to struggling and surviving that when I didn't have to anymore, it almost felt unsafe. Because to my nervous system, to my body, because I've only ever existed in chaos. So I think so, and I didn't realize this until things started changing, and I was like, oh my gosh, for so long I made decisions to keep myself stuck in chaos because that's where I felt safe. Even though I wanted more, I didn't make decisions to align with creating more because that was something that was very foreign to me. So right now is understanding that, okay, and I feel like it's always hard when I get this message because, that's too many cards. It's always hard when I get this message because I don't ever want to come from this place of saying that your struggles are your fault, because they aren't. But sometimes we do have to look at the ways in which we make decisions to keep us stuck in the same place. When we make decisions to accept less or to create more, what is that? Oh yeah, okay. To create chaos or to, not go after the things that we deserve and desire. And not from a place of saying and you should be so ashamed of that, but from a place of saying, looking at it from a place of compassion and understanding and saying, well, I haven't made certain decisions or done certain things because I've been really afraid, or because I've literally just been trying to survive or to pay the bills. And I absolutely get it. If your needs aren't taken care of, you're going to do whatever you can to take care of those needs, and that's understandable. But I also feel sometimes we have to believe that there's a different way and approach to our life being taken care of that isn't so rooted in control. And I think you've been doing what you can to control certain situations, and those situations are not panning out. I mean, with the Three of Pentacles in reverse, I feel like certain pieces aren't aligning, things aren't happening, and it's not because you can't have them. It's not because you're not good enough. It's not because you're not capable enough. It's because the success that you desire, you believe has to come with suffering, or with or you don't believe you can have the success. That struggle is the only way. And sometimes the best thing we can do is take accountability for the way that we show up in our life, believing that nothing better is possible for us, and not from a place of blame. And we can be understanding and say, well, of course I don't believe that anything's better for me. Look at what I've dealt with, or look what I've struggled with, or look at what has happened recently. And that's understandable, but your past is not a blueprint for your future. But if you're so closed off to the belief that things can be easy, that money can come easy, that love can be easy, not without its challenges and not without, having to grow and heal and evolve and all those things, but it can be easy. It can flow. It can all flow. If you spend your time resisting the flow and believing that it has to come through suffering, you're going to create more suffering. If you can let go and look for the ways in which things can just flow, and to move forward to different decisions, different habits, different dynamics that align more with peace, with abundance, and the belief that things can work out for you, you create miracles. Because again, you are a divine being having a human experience. You are the universe in motion. You carry every single capability to create miracles in your life. But your belief in that is the only thing that can create it. Like I said, a little bit of a catch-22. So if you're trying to force it, then you might find yourself feeling really stuck, continuing to struggle, continuing not to have what you want and deserve. So you have to let go. And you have to trust that, A, you're supported and guided by, like I said, a divine intelligence, and also that you are not here to just struggle and survive. That you do deserve good things, and that good things can come easy to you. Because when that's the case, you're going to see certain opportunities, and you're going to say, of course I'm going to take that. Of course I'm going to try this. Of course I'm going to go after this. Why wouldn't I? I deserve success. I deserve abundance. If I hit a wall, or if I experience failure or whatever, I'll learn, I'll grow, I'll pick myself up, and I'll keep moving forward, believing that good things can happen for me. So I think that, I've really learned that people kind of go one or two ways in life. They go through really hard things, and those hard things start to define them. They start to believe that they are their struggles, that everything that has happened is a reflection of their worth, of what they're capable of what's possible for them, and their life becomes a reflection of that from that point forward. Until maybe there's an awakening or something happens. Or people look at their life and they go through hard things and they say, this isn't a reflection of my value or my worth. This is a reflection of something that needs to be healed, something that needs to be addressed. And one of the things that I talk about a lot is that the only way to create true freedom, true peace, true abundance in your life is to take accountability for every single thing that you have control over. Not every single thing that happens to you, not to blame yourself, not to shame yourself for it, but to say, what is this trying to teach me? If this person won't see my value, if this person won't see my worth, if I continue to choose people who are emotionally unavailable, maybe it's not about them. Maybe I need to see why I'm driven toward emotionally unavailable people. If I believe that I need to struggle in order to make the money that I need to survive, what is my money story? What do I believe about money? Why do I believe it's hard? What needs to be healed there? That's where we start to take control over our life and create better. And I feel like right now you're really being asked, and I think a lot of this is because of the Lionsgate portal. I feel like you're being asked to look at the biggest blockages that hold you back from the life that you deserve and desire, which stems from your limiting beliefs. I mean, your limiting beliefs are the biggest blockages because your life is a reflection of what you believe is possible for you. What does Sagittarius need to know moving forward? Hierophant, there's some sort of awakening here in this future energy, an awakening to a different belief system, an awakening to, because then you have the death, an awakening to, oh my gosh, and the high priestess, I almost said the Hierophant again, the high priestess. It's like an awakening to really everything I'm talking about, because if we believe that life has to be hard, it's going to be hard. But if we believe it can be easy, and I don't mean easy as in there's no challenges, as in there's no obstacles, as in there's not things that will need to be healed and felt. I mean easy in the way where you're not so much resisting the experience, you're more allowing each and every experience to be a bigger piece of a whole, meaning that everything that happens, you look at it as a stepping stone. This is moving me forward to whatever's next for me, to more abundance, to more peace, to more love, and to understand that that is a lifelong journey. But I feel like the biggest reason you've been holding yourself back, well, there's kind of two sides to this. The biggest reason you've been holding yourself back is, first of all, because you think you have to. And second of all, because you don't believe that it can be easy. That money can flow to you with ease when you're intentionally giving out energy to things that make you feel aligned and passionate. Like that love can flow to you easily when you're not trying to force it in the wrong people. It can be easy, but we have to let it be easy. If we believe it has to be hard, then we're going to struggle and we're going to fight and we're going to control and we're going to do whatever we can to try to make it work, to try to make it happen. And nobody can blame you for that. That is a result of the things that you've been through. But you are also the only one who can acknowledge those things and shift them, and therefore shift the patterns and the habits that are a result of those things. Okay. This is an interesting reading here, Sagittarius. I'm going to hop on over to the extended. We're going to dive deeper into this, ultimately looking at the tangible advice surrounding what you need to do right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self. And then I've got an advice card to pull for you at the very end. Thank you so much, Sagittarius, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Sagittarius.